Hi and welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I am so glad that you joined me in the Treehouse today. Today we have a project that I really like. I've made this before. It's been probably about 3 years ago, and it is a peekaboo card, but what I really love about it is I've added a magnetic closure to it, and so don't you love that sound? That's so fun. But anyway, so it opens like that, and then again like that. So this is what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to give you all the measurements and walk you through it step by step so that you can create one yourself. All the measurements will be on my blog, and I think I will make a PDF tutorial that will be in my shop, which is also on the blog, if you want to be able to print it out and keep it and save it. So you can check all those things out. My blog is creativetreehouse.blog. So without further ado, let's pull the project back over here and I will go through all the bits and pieces to make this card. So we're starting with the Night of Navy card base, and there's actually two pieces that you need for the card base. You'll need a regular card base, which is the 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, and then you'll also need a smaller piece of the Night of Navy, and this is going to make the flap, okay? And it is 4 3/4 by 5.5. So 4 3/4, 5.5, and you're going to score it at half with the short side being on top. So this will end up being like that. All right, so those are the two main base pieces. All right, and on the right hand side of the flap, we will have these two pieces, and it's a piece of the basic white and a piece of the DSP. Now this DSP, I thought about calling it the flip side or B side or something like that, because this is actually I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it in there. Designer series paper that's got all this wonderful fruit and stuff on it. Let me get the other piece and I'll show you. But on this side, the flip side, it's these wonderful blues and the blue and white. So that is really fun. But anyway, so we're using the flip side. So now let me put this back and I'll tell you about this. The white is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and the designer series piece is actually no. Boop, scratch that. Scratch that, go back. I gave you the wrong white piece. This piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and the DSP is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, okay? And that's going to go on the right-hand flap, okay? And then on the very inside, that's the piece of white that I was telling you about. The very inside white that's the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then I did 2 strips of the designer series paper to go on the top and the bottom, and they measure 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so that's on the inside where you could write stuff. And then this piece goes on the flap. This is another piece of the designer series paper that I just pulled out to show you. And let me make sure I've got the right one for that. Yes, it is 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to take this one, we're going to work on this one, and we're going to work on our flap quite a bit. So these two are what we're going to work on. All right, and let me also tell you, you will need, let me slide this over just a wee bit. I used this die. I'm going to call it the paper plate die because it kind of looks like the edging looks like a paper plate to me. So we're going to call this one the paper plate, and we're going to call this one the eyelet. And these come from, oh my goodness, I'm not going to remember this one either. Oh, it is so close. Oh, I can see the stamp set. Oh my goodness. Spotlight in Nature. I think it's Spotlight in Nature. There you go. So, and both of those, as well as this circle from the Stylish Shapes. And I've written down somewhere, this one is about 1 7/8 in diameter, and this one is about 2 1/4, and again 2 1/4, so roughly, so that you'll know which ones to pick out from your set. So, and then, so you're going to, well, I guess we'll talk about that when we get to that point. So those are the things that you need. Now we're going to work with these two pieces, which is the flap, and we need to trim them so that they have like the triangular part to them. And it's a little tricky, but not too terribly tricky. So I'm going to get out my trimmer. And this one is the Night of Navy piece, the one that we have scored at 1/4 inch, I mean half inch. I'm going to pull that 1/2 inch, I'm going to go ahead and fold it back, and then I guess we could start with the long side here, the opposite from where we have the fold, and we want to mark the halfway point on 5 1/2, which is 2 3/4. And so I just took a pencil and I marked it at 2 3/4. That is the halfway point. All right, now I'm going to rotate it, and we're going to work on this side and this side, hopefully simultaneously. Okay, we can, there's 2 ways of doing it. Actually, there's probably multiple ways of doing it, but we can mark it at 3 inches, okay, both up and down right there. Another option is if we move it this way and put the edge, the folded edge at 1 1/4, we can mark it again up and down, right? And I find it easiest to mark it right here within the track. So there we have 3 marks now, 1 here and 2 here on top and bottom. So now what we're going to do is, just for ease, I'm gonna open that back up again. We are gonna line up this mark with this mark in the track. So right here and right here. And I'm just gonna pivot it to make it kind of work, all right? And then when I've got those pretty much lined up, I will take my cutting blade and cut it. Like so. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to rotate it and do it again. This one and that bottom one. I'll just line those up and slice it off. So there you have this part. And because they're pencil marks, you can easily just erase them off, okay? And now we need to do the same type of thing with this piece. All right, and on this one, let me see if I can find my marks that I made. I believe it's right there. Yes, okay. So this one's a little bit smaller. So to mark the halfway point on this one, this time it's 2 5/8, I believe. Let me double check. And again, these all will be on my blog. Let's see, see if I can find it. I have a whole list of, well, I'm pretty sure it's 2 5/8 right there, okay? Now, again, I'm going to rotate it. This time you don't have anything to fold over. And we're going to go, let's see if I move it this way, we'll see. If you do it, you can do it this way at 1 1/8. If you line up this edge at 1 1/8, you can make your marks this way. Another option is if you just line it up this way, 2 7/8 would be where you would mark it. Okay, so either way, whatever's easiest for you. All right, and now I'm going to just line it up the way we did the first piece, the Night of Navy piece. Just kind of rotate it, pivot it until you get both of those lined up in the little channel. So there's that one. I'm going to rotate it and get this one and this one lined up and cut that. Right, and so now we have it. I'm going to move my trimmer out of the way. And we can line these two up like that. So and then it's got just a really nice border around it. All right, I apologize if you guys, and you probably can, hear one of my dogs barking downstairs. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. She is something else. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to glue it yet because I don't want to get glue on my dies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Post-it tape, and I think this is on my favorites on my blog as well. And this particular one is 1 1/3. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you can use washi tape or other things. I'm going to get it pretty much lined up, and then I'm just going to hold it in place with the Post-it, okay? Because what I'll do next is I'm going to take the die from the stitched shapes, and I'm going to try to line that one up. Oh, and this is neat because that one happens to have a dots right through the center, so that should make it a lot easier to do it that direction. All right, and so that's probably about where I need it to be. I think I'll put another little Post-it note tape down, and then I'm going to run it through with my Big Shot. And I am not going to put you through all of that, so I will skip forward. All right, because you're going through 2 pieces of paper, it's a good idea to run it through at least twice through your stamp cut and emboss machine. All right, here's the big reveal. We will pull all this off. And we don't need these circles. All right, and let's get off the, I like the Post-it tape because it doesn't tend to tear your paper. Tearing my Post-it tape, but not the paper. All right, let's get this all off. Still trying to be gentle. All right, there we go. Got that off. And off of this one. All right, she is still at it downstairs, barking her head off. Okay, so we are going to actually now glue that down. So let me get my Tombow liquid glue, and we will adhere it. All right, just lining those 2 circles up. And trying to be sure that our border is about the same. I am going to flip it over, make sure it looks the same on this side. Not seeing any of the white. So I think that looks good. So our flap is done. Now let me get our other piece. And what we're going to do is we are going to adhere our flap to this base piece. And let's see. I think I'll just do... All right, I'm going to put the glue here. Make sure that's right. All right. And then a little tip would be to let it go over just a tiny bit because you want a little bit more room. So I say that you should see, you'll see the seam, you'll see the crease, the score right there. Because there's going to be just a touch of bulk to it. Okay, so now we can bring this over. Let me grab my bone folder. All right, and then this over again. Okay. All right. Now I've got just a little bit of glue there. Okay, which I can clean up. All right, so let's go ahead and we will use our inside piece. Let's go ahead and put that down. Again, grab my glue. I am a liquid glue fan. I prefer it to the tape runners. I like that it gives you an opportunity to move things around. All right, and then I'll go ahead and put our 2 strips on. I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of the white poking out. But you can put it wherever you would like. I would love for you to let me know if you make this card and how you might change it up. You can definitely use all kinds of different DSP. Stampin' Up! Has a wonderful wide variety, and they all coordinate so well. So there's that. And now let's do this part, the right side, the right flap, and that will be these 2 pieces. And we'll get to some of the trickier pieces. I think the cutting is one of the trickiest, marking and cutting to get that triangle on the flap. All right, and this is just going to go together. And then on to the right side. All right, so there it's coming together nicely. So what I'll do now is let's go ahead and do this goes on here as a frame. Now, in order to cut it, it cuts out solid, so I used the eyelet one, and then I took the one that we cut the hole with, the Stylish Shapes, and cut it out from the center. So it makes a nice frame, and it's a little tricky to use. Let's see if my little glue bottle happens to be available, because that would be the easiest, because there's not a lot of space on this one. So let me just be super careful with my regular glue. But yes, I have a little applicator that I put my Tombow liquid glue in for little projects like this. So, and that is another product that is on my blog under my favorite products. So then you don't have to be as careful as I am being here to use your regular bottle. You just transfer it to that. All right, so I'm going to line that up, hold it down, and then on the opposite side, just to kind of clean it up just a little bit so it doesn't look, I don't know, so plain. I've done the same thing with what I call the pie plate. I cut it out, and then I cut it a second time and cut out the center of it. This one will be a little bit easier to glue because it doesn't have all the holes in it, like the eyelet piece. Okay, and so that's going to just go here just to kind of clean it up and make it look more finished. All right, get that down, and then I'm going to turn it over and make sure it's not really showing. All right, looks pretty good. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we'll put our sentiment on the piece of white that we cut out. And let me grab my sentiment. I'm going to do that in Night of Navy. See if I brought my Night of Navy in here. I did, there it is. And this is from the Unbounded Love stamp set. So, and this one just happens to fit really well. The Happy Birthday is a little bit too big, but You're a True Blessing fits wonderfully. All right. Normally I would stamp first and then cut, but I was being brave or maybe reckless. I don't know. It just depends on how you look at it. All right. Let me get that on here to the piece that has not had the hole cut out of it. It's the whole pie plate piece. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue all around here. I'm going to see if we can line that up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just open it. I'm going to get that as lined up as I can. Okay, like that. and then close it up. That's pretty good. All right, and then just press that down. And now we have the peekaboo part. Fun. It's really coming together. All right, now the only thing that we're missing are the magnets. And let me show you those. They are, I put, one of them's already put together there. And so what I did was I ended up cutting 4 or punching out 4. I have a 3/8 inch hole punch, and that is what this is. So there's 2 here, one on either side of the magnet. There's a magnet sandwiched inside of there. All right, I'll show you how I do this one. All right, we need, I need my take your pick tool, and I need the glue dots, and I'm just going to pull off a glue dot, and I'm going to just set it right in the center. And let's see if I can pick that up. Oop, might help if I undid the cap, huh? See if I can pick that up or not with the, I can with the putty end. All right, then I'm going to just squish that on there and give it one more glue dot. Make a sandwich. Okay, and we'll put that on top. Get my finger out of the way. All right, and so we've made our second sandwich like that. Okay, now I'm going to put yet another glue dot. I feel like glue dots are fairly strong. I think I trust the glue dot more than the liquid glue for, make sure I get it the way I want it. Okay. I might try to kind of squish 2 of them on there. All right, 2, there we go. All right, so I've got 2 glue dots sort of squished onto that one, and I'm going to go ahead and decide where I want that. Kind of looks like a button. I like that. All right, so there is that, okay? Now what we're gonna do, I already have the other one ready, and to know where the magnetism is, or however you, what the right phraseology would be, we are gonna take it and we're just gonna drop it on there. So that is where it clicked into place. That means that is where I need to put the glue dot. All right, and so let me grab one more glue dot. Or possibly 2, and I'm going to put it here. Let's give it one more for good measure. All right, if I can get to it, there they are. All right, and one more. And then all I have to do, aside from pulling my fingers up off of it, is close it up and press down for just a minute. And then I should be able to lift it up, and that one adhered here because I had the glue there. And oh, listen to that. Is that not fun? Oh my goodness, so much fun. All right. You know what? I just did that wrong. That's hysterical. Hysterical. That goes right here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I kind of salvaged everything. I ended up, went ahead and I pulled this off because it had this on there and redid it, and I actually like it better butted up against. I also took my handy dandy glue eraser and took off any extra glue that was there. And now I'm going to close this up and we're going to put it in the correct spot, hopefully. So, yeah, all right, so I've got the glue. We're going to do the exact same thing. Just going to kind of do it like that, get it as even as I can, and then set it down. Got a little bit of wiggle room, and then we can press it down. Now that is so much better. There we go. The card is now complete. Wonderful. Thanks for bearing with me. Yes, crafters make mistakes, so it's true. And you got living proof of that. I am living proof of that. So, but anyway, so now you know what to do and what not to do. So I will have all these measurements and things on my blog. You're probably wanting to know about the magnets, and I'll put information there about them as well. They are teeny, teeny, tiny, and they come from a company called Total Elements. And not on Amazon. I think I've said that before. But anyway, they are wonderful, super cool, super fun. But that is our card. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you haven't, please consider doing that. Hit the subscribe button, and you can also hit the bell so that you can get notified when I have a new video. Now, every week I am live on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the Creative Treehouse. We make a card together, and you get to put in your 2 cents and pick out colors and sentiments and things like that. It's a lot of fun. So I would love it if you would pop in there. Leave a comment. We are filling out or coloring in a map of the United States that shows all the different places that people have been watching from, including in Canada and Australia. So if you are tuning in from one of the states or territories that we have not colored in, you get to pick out the color. So we would love to have you. All right, I think that is everything. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you'll let me know if you make the card and how you might change it up. And I did look up the DSP on, this is the B side of the Mediterranean Blooms. That is the name of the DSP. So thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. May your hands create and your heart be blessed this week. All right, until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.